Good morning, friend. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Krishna Kumar Sir, President IIG, for giving me this opportunity. Today, my talk is on newer energy sources and technique in hysteroscopy. In operative hysteroscopy, there are only 8 procedures which one has to masterize. That is polypectomy, corneal cannulation, metroplasty, foreign body removal, edizolysis, septum, and last two being complicated surgery, which is submucous fibroid and TCRE. The first step is negotiating the internal loss, which is a difficult entry. So, how one can come? Let's see this video. What's the spot diagnosis? One can see stretching of myometrial fibers, and hence it's nothing but a false patches due to the blind dilatation. So as we withdraw, we will see another opening at 12 o'clock position, which leads to the internal loss and the cavity. So that's the opening at 12 o'clock, which is the internal loss, and we go inside the uterine cavity. So one is to stop DNC, which is nothing but a deliberate crime, and it's time to change from office gynec practice to the office hysteroscopy practice, where there is no use of speculum, no valcellum, no dilatation, hence no pain. The ambulatory hysteroscopy today, with the availability of the smaller diameter telescope, atraumatic incision technique, which is called as the vaginoscopic approach, hysteroscopy can be performed as an outpatient office procedure setting. The difference between 4 and 2.9 millimeter scope is wide because as the diameter is reduced, the entire circumference reduces, which is very helpful. Professor Stefano Bitocchi Bari from Italy has changed the concept that internal loss is transverse oval from the circular, and he redesigned the sheath, which is transverse oval. So counseling is a very important part of any procedure, and this is how the setup is for the office hysteroscopy. Patient herself can see the procedure. These are the various sizes of the office hysteroscope which is available. With the evaluation, the sizes of the scope diameter is reduced from size 5, which is 2.9 millimeter, to size 4, which is 2 millimeter, and from size 4 to BIOH, which is we're talking integrated office hysteroscopy, which is 1.5 millimeter lens. The pressure in office hysteroscopy has to be maintained between 45 millimeter, because beyond 80 millimeter mercury, there is a distension of the internal of the ostia, and which causes fluid to roll out into the peritoneal cavity, and patient will have a pain. So one cannot use the pressure bag, and one has to go to the use of Histromat, which is expensive but can regulate the pressure at desired one. The benefits of office hysteroscopy is reduced cost as compared to conventional, higher patient satisfaction, lower complication rate, faster recovery, better result. Patient can herself observe normal and abnormal finding, and vaginoscopic approach preserve integrity of the hymen. This is the vaginoscopic technique, where you can see the scope is introduced into the vagina, hit the posterior fornix, find the external os, and just rotate the cable by 90 degrees so that the transverse oval fit into the transverse oval diameter of the internal os, and we can negotiate the external os. This is the external os, which once we enter, we see the cervical canal, and then with the help of the scissor, one can negotiate the internal os. So this is a vaginoscopic technique. Now coming to the power of distension media, you just enter the external os, wait at the internal os, let the fluid go inside the uterine cavity. Once the uterine distension happens, the internal os opens itself. So this is the power of distension media, which helps in opening of the internal os. And once it's open, you can rotate the cable by 90 degree and go inside the uterine cavity. So this is how you can take help of the distension media. Now this is the entry using the scissor, where there is a stenosis of the external os. You can do vaginoscopic technique, just with the help of the scissor, make a small nick at the external os, and then you enter into the cervical canal. You can see with the help of the open scissor, we rotate the open scissor, and that creates the passage. So after this, we enter into the cervical canal. So once we enter into the cervical canal, you can see the small polyp and then internal os, which is visualized. So with the help of the scissor, make a small cut, and the open scissor is rotated so that you can make a passage. So no need of dilatation or anything or a blind procedure. You can walk inside the uterine cavity with the help of the office hysteroscope and a Caesar. Okay, so these techniques become everything under vision, and hence there is a less chance of complication. So now we've entered into the uterine cavity. There is a polyp inside. So Caesar and Grasper are the magic tool in learning hysteroscopy. How to start hysteroscopy? One can go to the market and buy Shimla mirchi. We can add colors to life. So with the help of the Shimla mirchi, one can practice the polypectomy, can improve the head-eye coordination, and this is how one can go inside and cut the polyp. Via hysteroscope. As you can see, the instrument always comes on the opposite side of the light cable, which is marked by the notch. As you can see, with the movement of the light cable, the Caesar is moving. So you align your light cable in such a way that the base of the polyp is on the opposite side of the light cable, from where you expect your Caesar to come inside. So these are the few techniques. This is another video where you can see the cut polyps are removed with the help of the grasper. This helps in removing the foreign body from the uterine cavity. There are many ridges inside. Once you can use as a septum and try cutting the septum. And finally, you can make a small hole and use a cannulation set to do a cannulation. So this is how one can masterize more than 50% of the procedure using a single Shimla mirchi. And this improves your head-eye coordination and operative skills. This is the actual case of the secondary infertility where all the investigations were normal, and on hysteroscopy you could see bilateral ostial polyp, and with the help of the Caesar, we cut this polyp and patient become pregnant in a couple of months. This is another case of a polyp where you can see the alignment of the light cable helps us that our Caesar reaches base directly, and you can cut the polyp with the help of the Caesar. So these are the few tips and tricks which you anticipate and you can easily help, which helps in the dissecting and the removing the polyp and other procedures. So this is a case of the office hysteroscopy where there is no dilatation is used. The hysteroscope was introduced inside and you could see a huge polyp. Now, since the cervix is not dilated, it is difficult to remove such a huge polyp. So you cut the polyp in 3-4 pieces before it is disconnected from the base. So this is how you can use this technique of slicing or cutting the polyp in 3-4 pieces with the help of the Caesar, and then detaches from the base, and then with the help of the grasper you can remove all the pieces. So there is no need for the dilatation of the cervix. You can see the polyp is cut in 4 halves, and then with the help of the grasper you can remove one by one all the pieces. So these all techniques makes our life easy. You can see all the 4 pieces has been removed. This is another interesting case of the osseous metaplasia of the endometrium. The patient present with the secondary infertility with the echogenic focus on the ultrasound. So with the help of the Caesar, you negotiate the internal os, you went inside and you see the sheath of bones lying within the uterine cavity. This is the insult made due to the late trimester MTP, where the endometrium undergo osseous metaplasia and start producing a sheath of bones. The upper video shows the remnant of the fetal bone due to second trimester MTP along with the metaplasia of the endometrium. So you can see all the fetal part on the upper video. And you could recognize the human fetal anatomy also, like rib, clavicle, along with the sheath of bone, which is osseous metaplasia. So with the combination of the grasper and a Caesar, you can remove this. This case was published in the Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology and International Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Coming to the foreign body removal, this we have seen only in the family planning department museum, and we could actually remove one of the case which has a Lippis loop left inside. She's a 78-year-old female with a forgotten Lippis loop. So with the help of the grasper, we can remove this. The another video is a broken embedded multi-load, and this shows the use of combination of the grasper and scissor. So with all this technique, we can see we can manage most of our cases with the help of the grasper and a scissor rather than using any electric source. So there are two types of diathermy, monopolar and a bipolar. The monopolar requires the use of the glycine. So this is a submucous fibroid resection using the use of the glycine. However, the complication of use of glycine is dilutional hyponatremia and hypoosmolality. So one has to measure the proper inflow, outflow, and a fluid deficit. If the fluid deficit is more than 500 ml intraoperative, one has to send intraoperative serum electrolytes. And if the fluid deficit more than 1 liter, then one has to be cautious, and more than 1.5 liter deficit, one has to abandon the procedure to prevent the complication. However, due to the recent advances, we have shifted over to the bipolar diathermy from last 8 to 10 years, and we are using bipolar energy source where saline can be used as a distension media. The only complication which you have to tackle is pulmonary fluid overload. So this is how the bigger polyp can be sliced. So this is the use of bipolar saline needle where you slice the polyp in the two half and then detach it from the base. And each piece is removed with the help of the grasper. This is in the office setting. And you can see it is used to detach from the base, and the pieces are removed using the grasper. So this is a bipolar saline needle. One can use a resectoscope also. Now this is the case of a complete uterocervical vaginal septum where patient was having severe dyspareunia. And this is the right side of the cervix. This is the vaginal septum. This is the left side of the cervix. So vaginal septum was cut using a bipolar saline resectoscope. This is a broad fundus. One has to pinch both the labia to get this kind of distension of the vagina. And then with the bipolar saline resectoscope, you cut the septum. And then the Foley's was introduced into the right cervix, and the left side resectoscope was introduced to cut the intrauterine septum. You can see both the cervix is visualized. And now the Foley's is introduced in the right side and the left side resectoscope to cut the intrauterine septum, which from the fundus till the internal os. One can remove cervical part of but there is always a fear of cervical incompetency. But many publications show that it does not lead to incompetent os. So you can see Foley's on the opposite and the cavity was unified. This is a use septum using bipolar saline resectoscope. There's a resection master which is available in the market where there is a huge suction device. So as soon as the chip is removed, it is aspirated. So you can see that this is the TCRE procedure where the chips are removed and it is aspirated at the end. So there is no chips left inside the uterine cavity and vision is not hampered, and you don't have to repeatedly remove the resectoscope to remove the bits and pieces. However, the instrument is costly. The another advantage or another research in the market is the use of the hysteroscopic morcellation. This is recently available in the market by a few of the companies, and where there is a mechanical eating or a cutting of the submucous fibroid. However, it removes only grade 0 fibroid and the intramyometrial part cannot be removed. So you can see this is the mechanical cutting of the fibroid, and there is no electric current used inside the cavity, and saline is used as a distension media. So this is how the cutting is done. This is a hysteroscopy. On the upper side, you can see the animated video. And this is how the blade rotates, which helps in cutting and removing the fibroid using suction device. However, the equipment is a little bit costly, but with the time, the cost will come down. Coming to our own innovative technique of hysteroscopy, where we use laparoscopic tenaculum by the side of the hysteroscope for removing firm and heavier object. So this is how the idea was evolved, where this On the first case we were doing, there was a submucous fibroid at the fundus, which was not reported on the sonography. We cut with the Caesar, we removed, but now how to remove this big fibroid? So after struggling for half an hour, we took a cenaculum and we removed the fibroid. Second time, when there was a broken manual vacuum aspiration tip, we used hysteroscopic grasper, but since it is bulky part, we could not be able to hold. And hence, after struggling for 10-15 minutes, we removed with the help of the laparoscopic tenaculum. And finally, when I was called for removing the broken metal tip cannula, straightforward, we pick up the laparoscopic tenaculum and the case was finished in 5 minutes. So this is how the idea of use of laparoscopic tenaculum by the side of the hysteroscope was developed. And then we started extending this into the use of submucous fibroid. This case was published in the journal and cover page. So now we have extended the use of this in the submucous fibroid, where we resect the fibroid. 60 to 70% of the fibroid is resected using a bipolar saline resectoscope, and the remaining 30% just we pull it out with the help of the laparoscopic tenaculum by the side of the hysteroscope. So as you can see, bipolar saline resectoscope is used, and as we approach near the endometrium, we replace the resectoscope by the laparoscopic tenaculum and the operative hysteroscope. So you can see with the help of the tenaculum, everything is under vision, and hence there is no fear of perforation or overshooting the movement. So fibroid is removed from the capsule. The advantage is less fluid is used, less time is required, and there is no thermal damage to the surrounding endometrium as you approach towards the endometrium. So this is a technique which shows the fibroid is resected, and after that we introduce the laparoscopic tenaculum by the side, and you remove the entire fibroid from the base of the capsule. This case is also published in a journal and it's entered into the keynotes in hysteroscopy textbook, and the procedure is reduplicable, has got the feedback from many of my colleagues. So take home message is vaginoscopic technique is here to stay, and one should not use dilatation or you not use feculum, valcellum. One can use misoprostol for the cervical ripening. So saline is used as a distension media which can prevent hyponatremia, but hypervolemia still will be a problem. The fluid deficit better be monitored by automated devices. Bipolar has a definite advantage over the monopolar, and tissue debulking better be done by the morcellator. Thank you very much.